Awesome. Well, welcome. We are here live in the Community Newspapers facility. We are thankful to Community News Network for allowing us to be here today. I'm your girl, Michelle Shirley, CEO and Chief Heart Officer for Be Strong International. And welcome to our Be Strong show. If you haven't heard about Be Strong, where have you been? We are here. We are celebrating 30 years of service in the South Florida community, educating young people, parents, married couples, community members, all about healthy relationship skills. So I am so excited that you have tuned in to be with us today. And I have a very special guest who works with Be Strong. His name is Juan Camargo. And welcome, Juan. How are
Thank
you?
you. Good, good. Thank you for having me. Very
Yes.
excited, very
I'm
excited.
excited that you're here. So I do want to share a couple of things.
Mhm.
First, I want to say that not only am I excited that you're here, but I want you to share with our viewers, how have you landed at Be Strong? Like, what happened? How did you find about us? Out of all the nonprofits in the world,
Mhm.
how did you end up at Be Strong?
So be strong. I remember it was about 3 years ago now. I had just graduated from FIU and I was looking for a job where I could work with people. I wanted to help, I wanted to make a difference. And I had already volunteered with a couple organizations here in Miami, outside of Miami as well. But one of my closest friends, he told me about Be Strong and he told me that you guys work with youth. That's what he told me. I didn't know you guys did marriage, parenting, all of the things that we do now. But he told me about the youth program. He told me that um, you guys were going to schools and really just teaching them about healthy relationships. And I applied for the youth facilitator position, and I got it. So that's how I landed here. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got it. Again, you're an amazing team member at Be Strong.
Thank you.
And I want you to kind of share with the viewers a little bit, because that means that you landed into our Project Hope program, which is our
Correct.
amazing flagship
Hmm.
program that has been around since the organization started in
Hmm.
1992. And so tell them about your experiences, what you taught when you were a facilitator, and let viewers know what's happening with young people today. Like, what happened when you were in the schools and in the
Hmm.
nonprofit organizations that we served?
Definitely. So I think the first thing when I came in is in the first 2 weeks when I'm doing the training, when I'm doing all the getting ready to go into the school, and I'm reviewing the curriculum and taking it all in. One of the things that I realized is like, hey, I need this, and I think everybody that works at Be Strong realizes that this is
Yeah.
essential. This is essential for relationships, and in a way, I was taking it in for me. And then obviously once you go into the schools, it makes a whole lot of difference, because now the kids, one of the things that they say is that, hey, like, there's so many programs that comes and tell us what to do, but
Hmm.
they really like the skills that they were receiving, and simple things like red flags, how to identify red flags on relationships, how to break up with somebody in a healthy way, things that it will, if we would have known before, it would have saved us a lot of
Exactly.
time, right? So it was great. I was there for a little bit, and I actually, one of the things that I remember the most about that program and about teaching there is, it was a student. He was a junior, I believe, going into senior. And we're in the middle of the lessons. It was about 12 weeks, and he asked me to he wanted to talk to me. He called me to the side, and he wanted to talk to me about something he was going through. And I remember he told me that he was in this relationship with this girl that he loved, that he really liked her, but that he felt pressure to doing things he didn't want to do, in the sense
Wow.
of going to parties and smoking and drinking. And he said, hey, I don't do that stuff, I don't want to do that stuff,
Wow.
but I love her and I want to stay with her.
Wow.
So I remember he told me, he had the answer. He told me, I know I have to break up with her, but it just feels like a lot of pressure, and I feel bad about myself, because I don't want to do this. And eventually, he did it. But I think that one really marked me, because it's a boy, and sometimes you think that, oh, like, it's a guy, he's gonna be fine, but he was really going through it.
Mm.
So it meant a lot that the things that we were teaching, that all this curriculum, that it was actually coming into action, giving fruit or becoming real to into their lives. So that was I think one of the stories that really
Wow.
marked me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. It was a great
Wow,
time there. Yeah.
that's pretty intense. And
Mm-hmm.
then, just thinking about a young person,
Yep.
teenager trying to process dating and
Yeah.
all of that, it can be really, really intense, right?
Definitely.
And so from there, you moved on. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your promotion to now being special projects
Mm-hmm.
and outreach liaison for the organization.
Okay.
So I know you're dealing with the community. We also received some TCT funding
Mm-hmm.
in which in 2020 we were awarded to do an innovation
Mm-hmm.
project, especially around the time some serious times happening
Yeah.
with 2020 and the pandemic and the murder of George Floyd. So I want you to talk a little bit about that program that you took lead on
Mm-hmm.
and some of the experiences that you had there as well.
Yeah, definitely. So be strong at the table. That was the first big project that I was working on in this new position. And I remember it was 2020. The pandemic had already started. A lot of things were changing. The George Floyd situation had happened, and I think one of the things that was going on at that time is that there was a gap that had been there for years. It's been there this whole time, but people are realizing that, hey, like, this is a crisis, like this is
Hmm.
this is an issue that we have to address, that we can't keep going with. And one of the things when that grant comes out is like, hey, what can we do? We
Right.
teach healthy relationships, which in reality we know is the core issue of everything going on. So be strong at the table had a, I would say, simple approach, but it was very intentional.
Hmm.
So I mean simple because it was having dinner, sitting at the table with someone and sharing a meal.
Right.
And even though that might seem like, oh yeah, like that's cool, but I think it's something so intimate. If you look at different cultures, there's cultures that they won't sit with somebody outside of their own culture.
Right.
And it's something that I think in our society we're losing. Even in the family, people don't sit to have dinner
Yeah.
anymore. So that was the approach that we took. But then obviously all the educational part, all the intentional part that came in was one of those things was social empathy. How can we
Mm.
build social empathy among people that don't know each other, that they don't agree with each other, that they have completely opposing views from what it seems? How can we bring them together? And one of the things that we did and want to do is create debates
Yeah.
in the tables, or create discussions. Oh, I'm right and you're wrong, or this
Hmm.
is why I think it should be like this. So instead of doing that, our goal was to bring dialogue into the table.
So
So
good.
people will share, people will listen, but when they were having this conversation, the goal was to really connect. Like, oh, okay, like you think this way because of this. And I actually, and at the end of the day, I think we saw powerful, things
Absolutely.
happen at that
Mhm.
table. We saw people that had never spoken to a police officer in a friendly manner, really just come to see, like, wow, you think this way and you're a police officer, or you say these things,
Yeah.
and they connected, and it really, I think it broke barriers that had been there for a very long time. We had different races, we had teachers, students, all ages. It was very powerful. It was very
Yeah.
powerful. So that, and then the documentary obviously came out. We
Amazing.
still putting that out there,
Yeah.
and it was very, very exciting, that
Yeah.
project. Yeah.
No, it was cool. And I mean, I was just happy to be a part of it because
Oh,
I
you were a
know there was
participant.
part,
Yes.
exactly. There was one part where they asked me to be a part of it. And
Hmm.
I think for me, it was the intentionality about listening.
Mm,
Because a lot of times we want to talk and share our opinion,
yeah.
especially if we're angry, especially if there's some trauma there,
Yeah.
but really being intentional about listening to someone else, listening to understand
Mm,
was really, really key for me. And sometimes in the busyness of, life and just being a CEO, taking the
yeah.
time to listen to what's happening to the people in the community who are actually suffering or going through certain
Hmm.
things that we may not be able to relate to,
Yeah.
even though we may be in the same city, was really, really powerful. And so I'm thankful for that. Now, out of that, I know came Social Yaks,
Yes.
and everyone, listen, everyone is excited about this game right now. Social Yaks is like hitting it big. And we're really excited with your leadership on taking on Social Yaks. And so I want you to share with the viewers about Social Yaks and just how the game is played. How do
Hmm.
you connect through the game and so forth? So,
Definitely, yeah. So Social Yaks, it was one of those tools. I would say one of the main tools that came out of Be Strong at the Table. And it was our goal with this was really to allow people to take this tool home, right? To take it into their houses,
Yeah.
at work, at
Mhm.
school, with strangers. And that was the goal of it. Obviously, when we designed the game, it took a couple years to finally, make it happen, and it's
Right.
here now. But our goal was to have people go through different levels, because we knew that some of them, they might have never talked to each other, and we wanted to make sure that they were able to connect, that they were able to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
to connect, and to really build a relationship or
Mhm.
improve a relationship in the case that they already know each other.
Yeah.
So Social Yaks, it has four main levels, and I think the best way to explain is if we play it.
Okay, so we're gonna
So
play.
let's do it. Let's
All
do it.
right.
So let's start with the first one, the first level, which is the polar bear. And I'm gonna ask you, how much do you think a polar bear weighs?
Um, 1,000 pounds because
A
polar bears are
thousand
big.
pounds?
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
huge.
I actually don't know. I know 1,000 pounds is a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay, it weighs enough to break the ice. Let me put it like, yeah,
Okay.
it's the icebreaker level, and we're gonna start with you actually.
All right.
So
So break the
you're gonna
ice.
read the question and just answer it.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is not too bad.
What is it?
Um, what's your favorite thing about the town you live in?
Oh, three or
Wow.
five.
305, 954. Listen, people cross all the time, but I would say I like the fact that everything is open
Mm,
most of the time, like all the time, especially at night. So if you want a quick munchie, if you want to kind of just walk around somewhere, there's something you can do after 10 o'clock. Because I've been to
mm.
cities where things are closed at 10, the whole city looks like it's shut down.
That's
And I'm
it.
just
Go to
like,
sleep.
I want to go back home, right? So that's what I would say. That
Yeah.
305 954,
Love
amazing.
Miami. Love Miami. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's okay. So let me see. It's my turn now. Oh, there's the icebreaker level, but it says when someone does blank, it makes me angry. Okay, so when someone does, there's a couple things. There's a couple
You got
things,
a list?
that makes me, that make me angry. But I would say one of them is when you're talking to somebody, and especially with people that you want to talk to, like people that you're having probably a good conversation, and then they're
Right.
on their phone.
Mm,
And I understand, sometimes you have to answer a
right.
text and things like that, but sometimes there's two conversations happening at the same time. So you're like, hey, like I'll come back later,
Right.
I think that, and I do it. I do it too. I'm working on it, but it's like, man, like look at me in the eyes, like
Yeah.
this is important.
Yeah.
I think that, and it might be the be strong thing about relationships, but that's one thing that I,
Listen,
yeah,
that's your thing.
yeah,
That's your
yeah.
thing. All right. So
The
the other
second one,
one, yeah, I see this animal. This
so it's a yak.
okay.
It's called Social Yaks.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you answer first.
Mm-hmm.
We have a yak because they're huge animals, right? But they're very social, actually. So yaks are, they might seem intimidating, but they're very social animals. So we're gonna
Okay.
get social on this level. Let's see.
Okay. Real social. What was your favorite game or toy growing up? I haven't played with toys in a long time, so I gotta think. Um,
Social yaks.
so I would say, and I hope I don't date myself, but I would say Cabbage Patch.
Okay.
I had a Cabbage Patch little boy. And he smelled so good. Like I would just go up under his neck area and just smell
Oh
him
my
like a real
god.
baby. It's kind of weird. Like
You're
nobody judge
such a
me. This is a
mom.
no judgment zone. But he smelled so good. And Cabbage Patches were known at that time for just their smell.
So if you
I think
smell
his
it
name
now,
was
would it take
David.
you back to your
I
childhood?
probably I want to thinking about it. I'm gonna ask my mom if it's still at her house. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go look
it
for
probably
it.
has the smell.
Maybe I'll bring it to the next show.
That'd be fun. That'd be a little
A
scary.
little weird.
I'm afraid of dolls. Okay, okay. So, what is the most spontaneous thing you have ever done? Ooh, what's the most spontaneous thing I
You're
have ever
very
done?
spontaneous though, I think.
Yeah, but we're on camera. No,
We're live.
no. I think the most recent one. This year actually, I got married this year. That's not the most
Yes.
spontaneous thing that I've done, but
Congrats.
after we went to a honeymoon. We went on a cruise, and it was a very short cruise. So when we came back, I remember I just felt like we needed a part two for the
Yeah,
honeymoon,
yeah.
right? And we had a couple days off, and we were just. I think I woke up on a Friday. It was 5 a.m. I don't know why I woke up so early, and I started looking for flights.
Right, right.
And I found really cheap flights to Colombia, and I
Right.
didn't even ask my wife, right? And I just booked the flight, and then when she woke up, I was like, "Baby,
We're
we're
out.
going to Colombia."
Oh, that's so
So we
cute.
left the next day. It was amazing, amazing
Aw.
trip, but that was
So
one
see,
of
and
it.
then she probably loves that spontaneous
Oh
side of
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like, oh, we're gonna
yeah,
book a
yeah.
trip.
We don't really do it as often right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
but
yeah.
hopefully
That's
soon
really
again. Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All
So yeah,
right. So now we
the
have the
third
dig
one.
deeper. Yeah.
So there's a gopher. This is a gopher. It's a gopher because here, yeah, we're gonna dig deeper. It's gonna get a little vulnerable. So let's see how it goes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so what family traits do you want to keep and which ones do not want to pass on? Oof.
Mm.
All right, I had to think. Family traits that I would want to keep is I think the traditional things like the big gatherings for
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving,
Okay.
um, and where the food comes out, where you know it's from your culture, but you haven't seen it in a while because it's not something that typically is cooked on a weekly or a monthly
Mm-hmm.
basis. So I think that's what I love, the traditional foods that come in that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Let me taste that again. Oh,
Yeah.
this is so good.
Bringing back memories,
Yeah,
making me
and just
hungry.
having a good time, having a lot of fun, playing games, talking, and catching up.
Mm.
That's one. What I wouldn't want to pass on is that we're really passionate,
Okay.
intensely passionate. And so
But you said you wouldn't want. Oh,
if
got it.
we
Okay. Okay.
debate, it can be pretty intense. And there can be like a complete like I'm not talking to you for a month or
Oh my
2 months.
god.
So yeah, so I wouldn't want to pass that on, especially since I'm in the relationship business, right?
Right. Be strong at the
So,
table.
exactly. So always talking to my kids often, talking to my
Hmm.
husband often. Where are we? What do I need to apologize
That's good.
for? How can we connect? And yeah, just passing that on. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. And it's
Yeah.
work.
Yes, it
It
takes
takes
work.
work. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was great. I love it. I love it. Okay. Ooh, let me see how this one goes. Okay, so I got if every person had a warning label, what would yours say?
That's I want to
If
know.
every person had a warning label, man, I would have a bunch of yellow stickers everywhere,
Caution,
caution
caution.
tape all around. No, no. Ooh, a warning label. I think there's a couple things,
Mhm.
there's a couple things, but I would say one of the the most recent ones that I realized is that, and I think it has to do with that passion. Like,
Yeah.
you get a task or a goal, something that you want to accomplish, and you're gonna go all the way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? But one thing that I realized is that, especially when you're working with a team and you just going, it's
Mm,
easy to hurt people,
mm,
along the way. And I
yeah,
see, and I've noticed that the people that you end up hurting are really the people you love the most.
yeah.
So I think that's something that I've become aware recently,
Yeah,
and that I'm really working on. It's
yeah,
something that
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
change, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you accomplish. It doesn't matter how, oh, it was a great event, or it was a great X, whatever thing you want to do. If you don't have the people that you love the most around you, it's probably not as meaningful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a warning flag, or red flag, or something that I will carry.
But at
But
least you're aware of it,
yeah, and it takes
and you're
work,
working to yeah.
but
But
yeah,
relationships takes work. That's why we're
yeah.
here.
Learn the hard way. I'm learning the hard way, but we're going.
Okay, cool. So I see this beautiful owl use wisdom.
There's a twist on that one,
Okay.
actually. So the 4 level, yes, use wisdom. That's why we put the owl. And the way this one goes about is that you're gonna read the question, and I have to answer for you. So
Mm,
you read it out loud, and then now if you're playing it with other people, then they will answer for you. As many people as you're playing with.
yeah.
But right now, I will answer for you. So let's see what you got.
Mm. Okay. All right. What is something you think I could win big at in life and why?
What's something you can win big?
Yeah, win big at.
Oh man, come on, Michelle.
Oh, I know. I'm just
What's
like, what are
something
you
you
gonna
could? I
say? Because
wanna
I'm
hold up,
always trying
hold
to.
up. I think there's so many things that you can, just win big on. I mean, you're a CEO. You done. I seen you do it all. I seen you teaching. And you told me you don't like teaching, but you go out there and man, it's good. So I seen you do pretty much about everything, and you do it good. You know, if it's grant writing, you start writing. If it's anything dealing something with the people, you know, I think you can do it. You can do it very well. But and I think it goes back to the whole people, you know, portion. I think if there's one thing that you can win big is you're a visionary. So I seen you like, okay, we're going this way, but one thing that I think you can win big is as you go towards that goal, or that thing that you're pursuing, you're good at bringing people with you.
Hmm.
So I seen you, you know, find strengths on people. You did it with me, and I seen you do it with many other people. And you're like, okay, you're coming with me. We're doing this, and I think at the end of the day, that's something to be proud of, you know, and that's something that you have a lot of potential to keep doing. So yeah,
Oh, that means so
I'll
much,
say,
Juan.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so it's your turn. Let me help you.
Okay, okay. So
Awesome. Let me think now.
if my life was a movie, okay, what would the title be? If
Mm.
my life was a movie, what would the title be? I wonder what kind of movie would it
The
be.
hard part is that I don't have time to really watch movies to
You're not a
pull
movie
from a
person?
title. No,
Oh
it's
man.
so bad. Work, work, work. But let me see. I would say, um, finding your excitement through your passion and purpose. I feel like for you, that's where
Mm.
you have thrived. And I know your backstory too, and
Mm-hmm.
you know you're from New York, and then you came here, and just learning how you persevered, but you persevered because you found the thing that you were passionate about.
Mm.
And then you did that thing that, you know, people are talking to you about, like, hey, don't forget us. But you did that.
Going
You
after.
did that going after it.
Mm.
And I've seen doors open for you. I've seen opportunities open for you, even here at Be Strong. And I feel like that's definitely the title to your story. So I would just encourage you to keep doing that. Everything is aligned with your passion and your purpose. And you're gonna be great. You're gonna be
Oh man,
great.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. Awesome. I mean, this was really nice.
It was, and hey,
Yeah. And it, you know, it almost ends with, you know, at first you kind of feel like, okay, this question is funny, or this is,
yeah,
you know, interesting. But I think the ending really allows this game to kind of bring you to a place where you leave encouraged.
definitely.
You walk away empowered.
Hmm.
And everyone needs that, right? And so I'm really excited about this. I'm hoping that we can take this across the world.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, right. And I want to ask you too, like, where have you played it,
Hmm.
and where can people go to get it?
Definitely, yeah. So I just wanted to add to that, to the thing that you just mentioned, because each level is very intentional, right?
Mm,
And my favorite is the owl level,
yeah,
because he has the polar bear, you know, it starts breaking you in, and I think it's important for everybody to like feel comfortable before sharing anything.
yeah,
They get social, takes it to a whole nother level, and you're still like, okay, now you know
yeah.
more about me, and that's where people start connecting, right?
Mm,
The gopher one really brings it home, because if you play the first two levels right, the third one is really gonna bring it home. and
that's so
and
good.
and and when people share those things that they don't normally just, you know, put out there,
Right.
that's when real connection happens. And that's
Yeah.
what we saw at Be Strong at the
Yeah.
table. But
So
the
good.
last one, it does something that doesn't normally happen, and not everybody is good at. I know I'm not good at, which is building people with your words, you know.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's what happens, and I think that seals that connection,
Yes.
that seals that friendship.
It
And
really does.
so we, you know, we have played it in the schools with students. I think that's one of my favorites, you
Yeah.
know. But one of the most recent ones is really with teams, you know, so with coworkers at retreats, doing like team building activities. I think especially in the executive positions, and you know, and
Yeah.
even with teachers,
Yeah.
sometimes it's easier to put these boundaries, because
Yeah.
maybe you have a title, maybe, you know,
That's true.
you're not the participant, you're the one giving. And I seen very powerful things happen. So social yaks can be, you guys could get it at our website. So Be Strong International, INTL, sorry, Be Strong intl.org.
Yeah.
That's our website. Right now we have it available there. We could ship it to you, and you're gonna see Social Yaks as soon as you go in. And I think soon it's gonna be coming out in other platforms. But right now you can find it there, and anybody could play. Matter of fact, one of my favorite places to play Social Yaks is during road trips.
Wow. That's so, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. That makes
and
sense.
I have a friend that she bought it and she drove all the way to Mexico, to the lower part of Mexico, so it was like 2 days driving. And she was texting me throughout the road trip, and she was like, hey, like, this is the best road trip game ever.
Wow. Yeah.
And I see it because I'm the one driving normally and everybody falls asleep, so that's what I used to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm excited.
Hmm.
I actually sold a game to a new friend that I met in Australia, and so we mailed that
Wow,
out.
all the way across the world.
Yeah, so I'm
Nice.
excited. I mean, she might get it in like 15 days. But I'm really excited about
Hmm.
how far the reach is. I
Yeah,
know you said that there was a friend that you had somewhere else.
there was Israel.
Yeah,
You told me in
Israel.
Spain there was your, yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
it's
been
been
around.
amazing. And so
Hmm.
I just do want to share if you were interested in learning more about Social Yaks, we can definitely come to your site, your workplace, and facilitate the game for you as well. Um, I think it's interesting that people are always looking for ways to have people to connect, and this
Hmm.
is a really simple tool that you could use to connect people. And also, you're helping to support a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So I know, yeah, there are so many games out there on the market, but thinking about a product that actually gives back and
Mm.
pours back into the community work is just the best kept secret, that thing that you could do. So I would say if you're a corporation and you're looking for giving gifts to your team members, if you even want to play the game, if you're a
Hmm.
school, if you're a principal and you want to connect with the teachers, administrative staff, we've been everywhere facilitating this. I think it's a great opportunity for you. And with that note, I want to say thank you, Juan,
Thank you for
for
inviting me.
coming on. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Each time I have a guest, I will play a little piece of the game to kind of get, them to understand how important it is for us to connect.
Hmm.
And then with that said, it is never too late, just to let you know, it's never too late to start over again. You can always find a way to work on your relationship.
Mm.
The way to contact us is on the screen. And we look forward to meeting you, connecting with you, partnering with you in some way. Please reach out in any way you can. And we will end on our 1, 2, 3, be strong chant that we do all the time when we're doing events or whether we're at the office or concluding something. And so, 1, 2, 3,
Be
be
strong.
strong. Woo! Bye.
Goodbye.